tell everybody. I
Yes.
had asked Francine if she would like to do a little blurb for the book, and without hesitation, she said, "Yes, I would love to."
And I
And she
made
was,
the cut.
"Yes,
Oh, yay!
the
I was
cut."
I know. I was going
I
to ask
love
you
it.
if I get a signed copy.
Yes, you will when I see you.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Yep,
right.
absolutely. I'm going to be bringing these to Vegas. But yeah, you did make the cut, Miss
I was
Queen.
honored that you even asked me to write something. So, thank
Oh,
you for
well,
that.
you know what? You and I had talked, and I could just tell that we're a lot the same inside. We think a lot the same way, lots of respect. We don't take bullshit, but
Try
we
not to.
tell the truth. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And I just knew that you were cut from the same cloth as me. I'm like, I want this young lady, this icon in my book.
I
So
loved it. I was honored.
thank
I was
you.
honored, and
Thank
I
you for being in it.
oh no, definitely. I hope I did you some justice. And I saw when it came out, and I was just like, I have to get a copy of that. So I can't. But I want it signed. So
It's going to be signed.
okay,
So it's hooray for Hollywood.
yeah.
Uh,
First of all, wait a minute. You look gorgeous on the cover.
Look at that cover.
I
That,
love that picture. Is
oh
that
my
a
God.
Playboy
You know
picture?
what? I decided that I wanted something that was going to stand out. And that, some chick with a lollipop in her mouth stands
Well,
out.
what's so cool about it? You look beautiful. Number one,
John
but
Abeta is awesome. John Abeta did this photo and he did the makeup, and it was a little while ago, but
yeah.
obviously it was before that one. The original,
Oh, I love
this
it.
little
I love it.
20-year-old.
Right,
He
but
did such a great job.
yeah, you know what stands out to me besides the lollipop is the black and white and the pink.
Right.
Gorgeous. It's
Right. And
gorgeous.
those are my colors anyway, because in Glow I started doing black and pink. And I thought, you know what, the gray tone, because this was a color photo. And I said to my
Oh,
design cover, and she had asked Jeannie, can I please do your cover? Because that's what she does. And she teaches it as well. And I sent her this. The lollipop was originally red, the whole thing, red. And I said, let's make that pink. And then she came up, I told her I wanted this is Fight Club font, the Fight
mhm.
Club.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, yeah, I said I wanted that, and then we went through 18 revisions. I feel bad, but you know what?
Really?
When you're doing something like that, you want it, and it could be just tiny little things. Oh, this up here needs to be darker or larger. Let's move this over to the side and up. No, it needs to be, you know what I mean? Those kind of things. Not
Right.
I'm not that picky, but I wanted everything placed in the right position. And then I decided to come up with an limited edition color. So on the limit, so then we had to go back and add that little,
Oh, okay.
if you can see that. It just
Yeah.
says limited edition. So I have about 250 limited edition. And those ones are going to be all the photos here are in color.
Oh,
And
that's the one I want.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
And I'm gonna number them as well.
Smart.
So when you get them, they're gonna be numbered, and those, so I don't offer these. I offer these on my Etsy site and my website. Um,
Okay.
right now, Amazon has the black and white, so black and white. But I also did pre-order a while ago, and I figured if I do pre-order, then I can sit down and autograph all of them and then ship them out.
Yeah,
So
for
some
sure.
people couldn't wait, and I didn't know, but the published date was Christmas
Okay.
2024, and I
Yeah.
was just psyched. What a great Christmas present for me, because I've been trying to say, okay, it's going to be summer, and then I went, oh shoot, it's not summer now. It's August, and here we are in the fall. I'm like, okay. I kind of think that people thought maybe I was not telling the truth when I said I have a book. I have a book. I really
Right.
do. But in writing one, I'm not that great of a writer to just go and work on it every single day. I was like, oh, you know, I got to work on this. And it wasn't like it was a chore, because reading it just, I was like, wow, that's my story. And what I did, Francine, is I decided to make it in parts. I started doing a little more due diligence. So I went over to Paris's book and Prince Harry, and I picked them up and I looked and I'm like, cool. They did it in parts, part one. So for me, part one with all the chapters in it will be growing up. Just, I had a very lively childhood.
Mhm.
And then part two would be my audition, and then everything about wrestling and glow. Part
Right.
three would be when that ended, and then what do you do after? Do
Yeah.
and then coming up with the different chapters and what I wanted to call some of them. I guess this book is like it's things that I participated in, suffered from, I don't know, gained from, and certain things that I've achieved. And so I had to have all of that in here. So if you are a fan of Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, or a fan of me, this is a perfect book, I think, to for everybody. And another thing that I thought too, it wasn't just, oh, I did wrestling for this particular company for 4 years. Um, Write a book, but I thought, since I was the first one hired for the pilot, I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. Seriously, I had no idea the sport of wrestling because I didn't watch it. I really didn't. And what do you watch in the 70s? I mean, you're watching Wonder Woman and
Yeah,
and Batman and Batgirl and those kind of shows growing up. So I did remember my grandfather watching it, but I didn't know anything about wrestling. And so I thought this is a good story for me to tell because I was there for the pilot. I was there for a season 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I figured I would be the perfect person to talk about this,
absolutely.
and yeah, absolutely. And it's the truth. When you read it, I don't embellish anything. I'm telling you exactly as it happened. I'm not making up anything. These are my words, my truth, and things that happened to me. So
Sure.
you'll just go, oh my God, I've had some people read it already. They're like, oh, and they'll name something and they slap their hand, over their head.
Oh,
I'm proud of it because I made it classy. I didn't
mhm.
make it trashy.
I love
You
that.
know, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Classy, not
I
trash.
honestly do know what you mean. Yes,
Yeah,
and
and
that
I
book.
could trust me. There are some parts in there. I was careful. Bullying. I'm a huge advocate of bullying, and there are some things that are very hurtful. So you'll read it. I read it, and I'm like, oh, that hurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was careful. I had a lawyer look over everything because
Mhm.
just in case there was a word or two that should, when you're
Yep,
writing it, you're like, because you're in it, sometimes you have to step out of the box again and reread it for the first time. And I will say, for anybody who's reading, hasn't done this before, as far as errors and everything, have people help, have editors in there, go over. I
right.
have 4 different people doing it.
Wow, wow.
4. And
Yeah,
I still there's like 2 commas. I'm like, there shouldn't be 2 commas. How
right.
did that
Because
happen?
mistakes happen, yes. And
They
then and
do.
let me just correct you, you're an advocate against bullying.
Bullying,
Yes,
yes.
against it,
Against.
ladies and gentlemen, yes.
Sorry.
No,
Thank
no, no, I want them to know that you are one of the sweetest people I've met. So not a bully, not a bully at all.
No,
That
but
book,
let me
the
tell you,
yes,
playing a heel, I'm not
girl,
putting up for ever.
I understand.
Don't
I
think
get it.
I'm don't yeah, don't think I'm weak because I'm not. I will always give the benefit of the doubt because I hated growing up when kids judged you. Don't judge a book by its cover.
That
Here's the
cover's
thing.
gorgeous though.
Right?
Yours is
It's
gorgeous.
beautiful. I love this. Oh my God. I asked my boyfriend, I go, Ryan, what do you think of this?
Oh,
Oh my God. He goes, that's the one.
that is
Use that.
that's it. Listen, guys, she's holding up the book right now for those listening. It's thick. The
Yes.
book is thick. So
It's almost 400
she has
pages.
a lot to talk about. How long did it take you
Oh,
from the beginning to end to complete this?
so I started writing down notes in 1993. Okay,
Oh,
that's
girl.
when I wrote the notes. And you know what? I'm glad I wrote those notes down because later on, when I'm remembering, I went back to those notes and I went, oh, more detail.
Ah.
Sometimes you lose the detail. So it
Well,
was very important.
did you write those notes as a journal or were you planning to write a book from it?
No, not as a journal.
Okay, so you knew you were
I
going to
was
write a book.
planning to do a book anyway. I'm like,
Interesting.
okay, the show is over. I need to talk about this.
Okay.
There are stories about going to jail.
Okay.
There is true
Okay.
crime. I mean, these things are actual things that happen. These are things that, here I am at Italian family, mom and dad go to church.
Same.
Hello.
Same.
Exactly. Right. So you know what those values are. You're raised a certain way,
Yep. Yep.
right? There are rules, and there are many famous dinners that we have, and we're a family, and we're very tight, and we're very close, and we
Mhm.
always have been, and that's such a wonderful thing. And also my parents, they are still together. My mom is
Oh,
82
God
and my
bless them.
dad's going to be 86 in a couple of months, and it's like, wow, and good genes. And that's a good thing. With mom and dad, you would look at them and not think, they mom never got sun, so she stayed out of the sun, but she's
Oh,
gray.
she's
And you know
probably
what?
gorgeous.
Oh, they're sweet. There's
Yeah.
pictures of them in the book that is just adorable,
Oh,
that I had to put in there. But
yeah.
they taught me right from wrong, but they also let me have a lot of independence because, back in the 70s, I'd say, bye, we're going to ride our bikes, and we would take off. I mean,
It's funny you mentioned that. I try to tell my kids because my kids now, my daughter is 15
mhm.
and my son's going to be 13 next month, right?
Oof,
Around here, I know. Oh my gosh.
I
Around
know, I'm
here,
sorry. Scary.
no, kids don't play outside anymore. It's ridiculous
No.
because of all these friggin' devices that they have, and they're glued to the computers and the iPads and whatever. And I
Mhm.
would tell them, like, when I was, because I was born in 72, so like I was a kid.
63.
Okay, I was a kid in the 70s, a little too young, but then the 80s is when you go
Woo!
out and you
Yes.
would listen, you would play outside and you would listen for your mother to call you. And that
Yeah.
was when you used to come home. And all the
Right.
Italian moms, because I lived in the Little Italy, part of Little
Yes.
Italy in Philadelphia,
I
all
love
the
it.
Italian moms would scream our names and you listen to your mom, and then you would go home. So I try
Right.
to tell my kids, like, that was the way that
It
I,
was.
but they
Same.
don't get it because nowadays nobody does that anymore. And it's sad
It
because
is
I
very
just
sad.
feel like childhood when we were younger was so much more worthwhile than what these kids.
It was free.
Yeah,
Free. I know it's a terrible word, free and easy, but I mean, mom and dad already told us, someone comes up to you, someone does this, scream, run the other way. We
sure.
already had that embedded already.
Yeah.
But I think if I had children, young children today, I'd be like, I'd want to give them that freedom as well, but I'd be scared to death.
It's terrifying. And I'll tell
It,
you what, I don't
yeah,
know if you know this, but we pulled our kids out of school. We homeschool.
good,
I've been
nice,
homeschooling since the pandemic, so
better,
for 4
better.
years now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's every other day, it's a school shooting or, something's happening, and I can't my nerves are bad as it is.
Bad enough as it is, right?
I can't deal with that stuff,
Yeah,
so I find it, I mean, they're safe, but they're more sheltered.
yeah.
That's the point. They're more sheltered, but at least I know they're okay.
You
You know what I
know that they're
mean?
safe. And you know
Yeah,
what? I wish that I had, though. And I should have. I just didn't push it. There were so many rules in our family.
yeah.
There was coming home at midnight. Well, guess what I did as soon as I came home at midnight?
You went
Back
back
out the
out?
window.
Did you really? I never did
Oh,
that.
I'm rebel.
That's
And if I had children and they did that today, I'd probably put chains all over their doors
Listen,
and windows.
you don't share your stories with your kids.
Right.
You don't.
Well, communication is what I would say.
Right.
Please tell me if you're going to go out with your friends and you guys are going to the movies. If you go somewhere after, I'm not
Oh,
mad. Just tell me where you
yep,
are.
I get it. I get
My
it.
parents, I wasn't like that.
Oh,
I
no,
know. No. Oh, no.
me neither. And
No.
if you were on my porch, like if you were on the porch with the boyfriend, the lights would flicker,
Yeah.
like to tell you to come inside. And I was so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God,
Isn't
really?
that embarrassing?
Yeah. But that's how it was back then.
Yeah.
I had to be home. My curfew was 11:30. I had to
Oh.
be on the porch by 11:30, and then the lights would flicker and I had to be in the house.
Yeah. In the
That
house.
was it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. But the kids today, they have it too easy. They're lazy. They don't
Yep.
want to
They don't
do
want to work.
anything.
And
No.
so most of them don't want to work or have a job.
Oh, I can't. I mean, my
No,
kids are still young enough because they're still in school. And I
yes,
told them, as long as you're in school, you don't have to work. Once
that's
you're
right.
18, if you want to live here, that's fine, but you need to
Right.
get a job.
Perfect.
That's it.
That's it.
They can live with me till I die. I don't care. You just work.
Yes. Just work.
Yeah.
Help mom, that's a good way to keep them responsible as well.
Yeah.
And my parents were the same way, only though at 16, my dad goes, "You have to get a job." I'm like, "What?"
Oh, yes.
He wanted to show responsibility. I already had a car. Now, I didn't have a brand new car. My dad bought this car that you will see in the book, but
Okay.
it's okay. It was a 73 Plymouth Barracuda. And when I saw it, I'm like, "Dad," I go, "it's a weird color. Don't worry. Don't worry. Susie Santoyo's dad's going to do a job for me, and I'm going to do work for him because he painted cars." Oh my
Okay.
God, they made my car look so cool. But
Oh, nice.
it was this used 73 badass fast car.
I love that. Yeah.
You
Many
know,
kids
so
get cars, so you're lucky.
at least it was $400. That's all it was. And my dad made me get a job, and I waited, sweetheart, to the last minute to get a job. And it was a drive-through, and I learned never. There's nothing wrong with working in the drive-through of fast food.
Yeah.
However, what is wrong is maybe don't do it right next to your school. Go to another city, please, where
Oh,
nobody knows you.
oh. Did you get
Because here
teased?
comes the bullying.
Yeah.
Kids making fun.
Yeah.
I was called the French fry queen,
But
sweetheart.
guess what, French fry queen? You had
Yes.
money and you had a car.
And I had a car. I had to put
So
gas in it.
screw those kids. Kids are so cruel. I hate them sometimes.
They're
I
so
really
mean,
do.
right? They're mean.
They're very mean. Yeah.
They're very, very
Oh my
mean.
God. Well, listen, I cannot wait to read this book. It
Thank
looks
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
It's on Amazon. I have it up here now. You
Thank
can
you.
get it in paperback or you can get it on Kindle, which is exciting too for those of you who
It,
don't read.
it's coming to that.
Okay,
It's
because
coming
it's
to
on
Kindle.
Amazon right now on Kindle.
Really? You see
Yes.
Kindle?
Yes.
Wow. I guess
I
it's
see
going to be
Kindle.
maybe, between last night and tonight. Maybe it's up.
I mean, they're selling it. So
Okay,
unless
good.
it's a pre-order, I don't know, but it is
Yeah,
it
I'll
is
look when you
advertised
get.
as Kindle.
I will look. And also, you guys, if you're interested, it's at my website. I have jeanniebasone.com. And
Yeah.
then there's Hollywood Botanica with a K, which
Okay.
is my soap. And then there's Etsy. So I've got it in different places. And when the Queen of Extreme and I are in at WrestleCon in Vegas, there
Yes.
you go. It'll be there
Yes.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not letting you go yet. I have a couple more things to discuss.
No, you don't
You're
have
not
to.
done.
I'm here. I'm not
You're
doing
not done
anything.
yet. Are
No.
you watching any wrestling these days? Have you kept up with the products and
Here and there, one of my favorite girls, and I'm behind, I'm sure. I loved Sasha Bank. I always thought she reminded me of a little Hollywood. So I know she's gone to, is it
she's in
AEW?
AEW under a
Different,
different name?
different name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
huh. Monet or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I
Something.
can't even remember.
Yeah.
She did
Something like
change her
that.
name, but yeah, she works over there now and she's pretty
Okay.
successful. So
Yeah.
she's doing
So I
well.
don't watch a ton. I have to be honest. It's just, I'm like, wrestling. I'll watch it though. And when I do have a
Mhm.
chance to go through it, look at the girls today. Wow. They're
I'm
amazing.
telling you, I was called about a month and a half ago to go to NXT for WWE. And I got to go
And
there because it was at the ECW arena and they were doing like a throwback to Extreme.
oh, I love it.
And yeah, they
Yeah,
had a bunch
cool.
of ECW alumni there. And I was lucky enough to be one of them that was invited.
Oh, that's great.
And it was pretty funny because they wanted me to referee, but I couldn't referee because of my abdominal problems. Then they wanted me to do backstage interviewing, and I had laryngitis.
Oh,
And so I ended up sitting in the crowd for the women's 10-person match that they
oh,
had.
cool. Okay.
The girls work their asses off,
Yeah,
and
they do.
they're so nice, and they all just seemed happy to be there. And
Great.
remember, they're all young. They're all in their 20s. You know
Of
what I mean? They're
course, like
hungry.
we were.
Yeah, yeah. But it was just fun
Good.
just looking at it from a different perspective, because I wasn't really working. I was just there.
Right. So you could enjoy the
I
show and you
did.
can
I
also
enjoyed
make
the
notes, mental notes.
I didn't have
Like,
to worry about
do
anything.
you do when you're sitting in the audience and you're looking, do you say, yes, right. Yeah, I would have done that. Or I would, do you start doing that a little bit at
Not
all?
really. I was just like, because they put the camera
Good.
on me just to announce that I was there, and I got
All
up and
right.
I waved and started an ECW chant or whatever. And then like there was so much action because there were 10 girls in the ring.
All right.
There was so much going on. So I was just like, whoa, hey, yes, woo. And then I had to deal with the men, because like it was me and like another girl, and then there were all men. So I'm
And the guys all around you.
all
Yes.
around me, and
Yeah.
20 somethings who half of them were probably like, who is this broad coming in at the last minute? Because they walk you out before the main event. So there was a
Yes.
seat for me, so they placed me. And then
Right.
most people knew who I was, but there were a couple guys that were probably too young to know,
To know.
where I
They're
came
like, ooh,
from.
that girl's hot, you know. Who is
But
she?
they're screaming like for the girls that were in the ring, like, I love
Right.
you, blah blah blah. And I'm like, settle down, like she's not looking at you right now. She has a spot
Ah,
coming
you're
up.
so
Stop it.
funny. Ha
Yeah,
ha.
that's what I was mainly doing, was like laughing at the people around me.
I love
Um,
that. That's what I would have been doing.
yeah,
Getting a
it
little
would.
bit this way, a little bit this way, and a lot that way.
Yeah, exactly. But it was
Perfect.
just fun to like observe today's product, because
Right.
I dabble in it. Like I don't watch
Yes.
religiously.
Right.
But because of the podcast, I try to
You have
keep
to.
notes. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
keep up on X and Instagram at what certain people are doing, and like
Good.
I try to watch some of the pay-per-views because I
That's
do
good.
enjoy them. But it's a lot of wrestling in a matter of 7 days. Like I don't
Right.
have the time
Yeah, I
to
know.
watch like 12 hours of wrestling. Like that's a
No,
lot,
I don't either. I mean, just this book took me so long that you should have seen my office because I had pictures over here. These pictures have to go to part one. There was
Yeah.
so much going on and people, I have a really great friend in Canada. His name is Bob Harris, and Bob mentored me on this book. This is the reason this book looks so good. It doesn't look like it is a self-published book. I needed to make sure that this book looked like, Random House picked it up. Um, and I didn't, no disrespect, but it had to be perfect. You
It
know,
looks
I
it.
it had to be like something that I would find in the bookstore. And that's my
Yeah.
next thing is it's called Ingram Spark. And so I have to upload all of that. And what Ingram Spark does is it will offer the book to all the mom and pop and the big bookstores. If you're in the
Oh,
airport like Hudson. So
yeah,
those
yeah.
people get it from Ingram Spark. I had no idea about this, but I learned that that's where this is blah, I can't even say it. This is where this will be next in bookstores as soon as I
Okay.
upload it. So,
Okay.
and I'm correcting a couple of things in there, which is great that I can do that. I might add a little bit or just correct those two commas that shouldn't be there.
Oh, so for
Or
the next publication that goes to Hudson or wherever, it's
yes,
you
to the
you have the
bookstores, we'll just
opportunity.
yeah, it'll be it's the same photos, everything's the same, but if I saw an error or an indentation that was
Yeah.
incorrect,
Yeah.
that little stuff like that.
Got you. Got you. Well,
Yeah.
when I think of Glow, you're the first person that always came to mind. And I told you this before, like,
Yeah.
I was too young to experience it the first time around. So I watched it in syndication reruns and
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And my career, I was 90% a heel. So I always
Yes.
gravitated to the heels. And you
Right.
were one of my favorites.
Thank
Like your
you.
look, your persona, just your character. Like I loved you. And I told you this. You were one of the ones, Hollywood and Vine. You guys were my favorite tag team. I loved watching you perform. You worked there for 4 years, right?
Right. Yeah.
When you get out, do you get offers from WWF like, hey, we saw you do this. Why don't you come do it for us? Because
Right.
I can't believe that your only time in wrestling was for this promotion
Well, there is a story about that in this
in the
book.
book. Can
I
you give us
promise.
a little bit without giving away too much?
Yeah, of course. A lot of people know it already. So I was right in the middle of a broken leg. So I had a broken leg, tib
Okay.
fib, right side,
Mm. From the
and
ring? From working in the ring?
working. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And
Okay.
I thought that could never happen to me. Well, it does happen.
Yeah.
And so it was for me, a tragic accident. I thought I'm never going to wrestle ever again. Of course I'm going to wrestle again. But when I guess it was
F.
F at
Yep.
the time,
Yep.
came to Los Angeles, it was 1999, and I'd broken my leg in 98. So I'd still been wrestling after Glow. I was doing small independent shows.
Right, right.
Southern
And I
California.
knew that, but I'm just saying the bigger
Right.
stage.
Right.
Right.
So here's the bigger one. Rick
Okay.
Bassman. Rick Bassman sent me there, and I told him, I'm like, Rick, I'm right in the middle of a broken leg. So I went down there and I hid my leg. I wore sweatpants. Nobody was wearing sweatpants besides me, but I just didn't want them to see the atrophy in the leg and how much I was limping. I mean, I couldn't keep the leg straight out at all. They started asking me lots of questions. Jim Ross was down there and a couple of different others. Who's your trainer? I'm like, Mondo Guerrero. Oh, and they're writing down notes. And I'm like, oh my God, they like me. I have to tell them right now, I have a broken leg. Then I
Oh,
never heard from them again. However, Francine,
oh no.
but let me tell you something. At that time, I'd been working for 4 years straight, and I just wanted to be a regular 20-year-old, not having these curfews and to wrestle. I wanted a boyfriend and to do the stuff that I was missing in my 20s. And so I was like, screw this. I just want to live life. I want to party with my friends. Now, do I regret that? Yes and no. So I was in the mindset like that's okay. When I'm ready, I'll go back. But I never was really ready to go. I just
Mm.
couldn't fathom that. I don't
Was
know why. Maybe I
was
was
it
afraid. I don't know.
it could have been afraid, or it could have been like being on the road constantly. Like, did
Uh,
that get in the back of your head too?
yes, that did because here I am trying to maintain or get a relationship. I'm like, it's never going to work if I'm on the road. Now,
Yeah.
later on, my sweetheart that I've been with for 22 years, he's music entertainment and I'm sports, and it works perfectly. But my mind was not there
Yeah.
to then, too immature, too young. Plus, if I would have had someone really to say, hey, you can do this, this, and that, why are you not doing that? It would have been nice to have a mentor back then to say, well, you could do this and you can do this and do this. I kept thinking that I would be on the road forever, forever, and not be able to do the things I wanted to do, but that's what I get for not asking questions and moving forward that way. So I'm good with it. I'm
Yeah.
serious. You know, I think there would have been a good opportunity for me to be there, and that, wow, I should have.
Well, I
But
mean, you had
coulda,
obstacles. You
woulda,
had a broken
shoulda.
leg. Yeah, your broken leg.
That broken leg, that right then, and you're right. I told myself I'm never doing this again. I was scared shitless.
Was that your first major injury that you
I broke arms when I was a kid, but in
for
wrestling, yes.
wrestling?
Oh
And
my
that was
gosh.
towards the end of your career with
That's
Glow.
right. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, bad timing, girl.
Bad timing. Even
And
glow. I look at that. They were so ahead of their time, but still the timing was not right because we didn't have these and,
mm,
we just didn't have social media. So it was a different time. But
yeah,
you know what?
we had no social media either.
No, no. But the power of television, wasn't that great?
Yes.
The
Well, that was the
power
only
of,
thing we did have.
that's all we had was TV.
Yes. Yep.
We're lucky we had that, but back in Glow, I don't think they really wanted us to know that we even had a fan base, because when I went to pick up a check in season 3 and 4, this is when I was going back and forth. They allowed me to go home and then come back to Vegas to do the show. I saw a bag of mail, bags of it. And I said, who's that mail for? And our secretary Jackie goes, oh, that's your guys' mail. I go, what? Why are we not getting it? We never even got to see the mail. I pulled as much mail out of there as I could.
Why would they not let you see fan mail?
Probably didn't want it to go to our heads. I mean, they had a different way of thinking back then, and it
Oh
kind of
my
sucks.
goodness.
Didn't that suck?
Yeah. You
And
would
then,
I mean, you would think it would motivate you guys. Like, oh, people that like
oh
what
my
we're
God,
doing.
so much.
Yeah. So
But
I
there was
don't.
a lot of negative since being a heel, as you know. Oh God, I was reading some of those people. They're like, you don't know how it is to be in a fight. I'll come over there and kick your
Oh,
ass.
of
I'm
course.
like, oh shit.
Well, that just meant you were doing your job well.
Exactly. I was
It's
just
your
going to
heat.
say that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
See,
but back then you didn't know either. You're like, oh, how do I react to that?
did you watch the Glow show that
The
they produced a
Netflix.
couple years ago? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
What did you
I
think?
loved it.
How
Uh,
accurate was that to the actual product?
it is not a cookie cutter of our
Okay.
show so much, but to bring back something, and some things are right on and some things are not. But I thought to myself, well, anything that promotes our show, unbelievable. It brought us back into the spotlight. We were honored at CAC, I think in 2017, at the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Yep.
Um, the whole night was ours, and that was really sweet. The conventions that I've been doing after that, like LA Comic Con, we've done 10 years in a row, Rhode
Wow.
Island Comic Con, and some of the wrestling ones, big event,
Hmm.
WrestleCon.
Which I will
See,
see
and
you
the
at.
cool thing is you'll get people coming up that are younger, and either some will go, "Oh, I love the show," and I look at them and I'm like, "Are you talking about Glow Netflix or Glow?" Right?
Right.
When they're young,
Right.
some are so smart they'll go, "No, we're talking about you. We found out that there was a show that they're talking about when we looked at all the YouTube videos." So, you go, I'm like, "I'm not on Glow Netflix. I did it 30 some years ago."
Right. Right.
But it's just amazing, and it's always awesome to see our fans and
Hmm.
new fans, as you know. I
Right.
By the end of the day, at the end of the day, doing one of those conventions, you're a little tired, you've smiled, and your cheeks are hurting.
You've worked your ass off getting up
You
and sitting
worked a
down.
lot, and it depends too on the promoters, because I also did a game video in 1994 called Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. That game became
What?
a yes. You don't even know anything about that.
No, what is it?
So it's a video game called Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. I talk about it in here. It was on a platform called 3DO, and I'm not sure what a 3DO
3D.
it
Oh,
was or is. But anyway, all of a sudden I had this huge following. And I'm thinking, where are you guys reading this? Well, on YouTube, there's a guy named the Angry Video Nerd who did uh, a whole thing on it, and I looked at it. Back then it had 7 million views. Today it has over 9 million
oh
views. I played the
wow.
character Jane. So listen to this. So then a company called Limited Run Games on the East Coast, they reformat these video games to like what is it? PlayStation 5, all those different ones. So I came in for them, and we did some commentary through the whole thing. And then we did a reboot of the beginning, but we didn't change anything else. This thing is the oddest thing you'll ever see in your life. It doesn't make sense. It looks like a some kind of presentation show, but it's interesting. So anyway, I started doing the conventions for them. Holy, let me just say, I thought wrestling was big. Oh my God, the video game industry is super huge as well. Unbelievable. These people are coming up with their 3DOs. By the way, the 3DO, the original 3DO, do you remember when CDs were long box sets
Yeah.
and all?
Yeah.
Those are like $700 on eBay for that. But anyway, I sign autographs for the new format,
Right.
PlayStation 5, and that is amazing. So I've been doing those, which are super cool. And it's a different genre. So people come up for, they're either wrestling people or major video game. And I'll look at major video game people. I'll look at some of them that are like in their 20s. I'm like, I don't think were you born? No, but I'm
Yeah.
a huge video game, fan.
So okay, so let me ask you this. So this video game, Plumber, what was it called?
Don't Plumbers don't wear ties.
Okay. Are you a playable character in it?
Yes. I am a character.
As Hollywood or as
No, the character Jane.
Jane? Okay.
Jane.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
And you do voiceovers and you can hear your
no, I mean I'm just in it. There are video of me. So I'm trying to explain how the video works. Basically, my character is Jane. Jane is getting interviewed, and the player gets to choose what she does. A, does she go for the interview, or B, does she, accept this or that, or does she go here, blah blah blah.
so it's
A-
role playing, so to
It's
speak.
role playing, yes,
Okay.
and it's so old. That's what I'm telling you. It's just this vintage 1994 game. But first of all, you do these jobs, right? And you forget. It's like a modeling job. You do a job and like, oh yeah, I did that. But then it gets popular.
Yeah.
That's crazy right there.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's great.
It's interesting. I forgot I would have brought him down here. This isn't my office. My office is upstairs, but I would
Yeah.
show you the that was cool. So
That's
limited run games is I'm always giving them kudos. I even thank them here in the book. You know what? There's a picture of it, right? Wait a second. What am I thinking?
and because that's a whole different thing. You can have a double career. You could do the
Yes.
wrestling and then the video.
Yes.
The double
Yes.
book.
And you know what's interesting? If I would have known about that before, right? I would have like went that direction too, because
Sure.
why
Shoot.
not?
Yes.
Why not?
Brilliant.